What up, what up, what up? Welcome to another episode of What's Your Grind podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Akron legend here with us. We have Mr. Willie McGee, who is an Akron legend, like I said. He is currently, we are family coach for the Lebron James Family Foundation. And that's a very new role for you right now. He's also part of the Fab Five out of St. Vincent St. Mary's that won those 3 state championships, doing legendary stuff.
Good
at
times,
Akron.
good times, man. Let's try to leave a legacy.
Well, I appreciate you coming out. Thank you so much for being here and willing to share your story. And here at What's Your Grind podcast, I would like to ask each and every guest, what's your grind? Tell us a little about yourself.
Well, first and foremost, I appreciate you for having me on here. Obviously it's an honor. An Akron legend, I don't know about that, man. I clock in every day. Got, the workman mentality. But my grind is, I'm a family-oriented person, blessed to have athletics as my guiding light at a young age that helped me, put me in places that I think helped me be in front of you today, honestly. When I growing up in Chicago, mom and dad, were addicted to drugs. My sister took over the lead for me at a young age because my brother received a scholarship to come here to Akron U to play basketball for Coach Huggins.
Okay.
As he graduated, he, all that time he was taking care really of my sister, her kids, and me. He kind of took a burden off of her and brought me up here with him to help her situation. My mom was still battling my younger brother. A year and a half later, my mother and my younger brother moved up with me and my older brother, and really changed the course of my life and my mother's and my brother's life. I had an opportunity to lock in. Academically, I was behind. I had to spend 2 or 3 years in special education because I was so behind, not going to school. I remember the last year I lived in Chicago, I missed like 35 days of school, and they still passed me,
Wow.
And so coming here, I really had to play catch up. It was a humbling experience. The kids I made fun of in Chicago for needing help in school, I became that kid. And, I had to put my head down and start working, had to get back on track academically. Basketball was always my first love. I wanted to be like my brother, first and foremost. I tell everybody he was bigger than Michael Jordan in my eyes back in the day. Then it was Michael Jordan growing up in Chicago and winning all those championships, man. So basketball was my life, and I just, he gave me the opportunity to play recreation. That's when I met LeBron the first year, playing rec ball 8 to 10 at Summit Lake. And ever since then, man, athletics has been my guiding light. And not till I got to maybe 8th grade, 9th grade, I understood the importance of academics and the opportunities that it will present to me. And that's understanding my brother was the first in my family to graduate with a college degree. So my goal was to be the first in my family to graduate a master's degree. So having that example in front of me was my bar that I was trying to set and continue to grow and be better than him and trying to help my family along the way. So I just had a good example growing up. When I was here, when I moved here, him and my sister-in-law was girlfriend and boyfriend, and they ended up getting married. So I had a great example of Black love, marriage, hard work, getting up every day, going to work, clocking in, clocking out. So, at a young age, I had great examples around me. Then traveling with LeBron and playing for Coach Dru, I had another example of a male that was doing positive things, giving back to the community and things like that. And I think that's all the ingredients to help me be here today.
Who you are today.
Yep.
How old were you when you all moved from Chicago and made that move to
When
Akron?
I moved, I was 8.
Okay.
When my mother and younger brother moved, I believe I was 10 when they moved up here. I think it was like 92, 93 when I moved up. I was in 3rd grade.
Got you.
Yeah.
So you say you wanted to be like your brother. That's why you started playing basketball yourself. When did you make that football move?
Well,
Because
honestly,
you played both.
I didn't start playing football until high school.
Okay.
Basketball was everything. Coming from Chicago, that's all I knew. That's all I wanted to play. When I got to high school, my friend Sian played football. And it was something new, something I wanted to play because Northeast Ohio is a big football town. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm going to school and I'm waiting for basketball season. People got their jerseys on. I want to play. But my brother never let me play. When I get to high school, he give me the option. I end up playing. And ironically, I ended up getting hurt, like the second to last game versus Booked, popped my shoulder out. And I thought, my football career was done. I didn't play my sophomore year because I ended up having to have surgery. So it pops out. my freshman year football. Then I played basketball the whole year, played varsity as a freshman. Then my first AAU game, it pops out. I had to sit out the whole summer, come back, basketball season pops out again. So now I had to have surgery. So I missed football my sophomore year. And, I'm thinking it's done, but, LeBron's playing, Sian's playing. I think Romeo comes out that year. And, I'm still down in practice. I'm throwing the ball. I'm playing quarterback just because they need reps. And like, well, you should come out next year and play and this and this. I'm like, my mom not gonna let me. I'm here for basketball. I'm already set behind. But come to find out, my mom let me play. My Coach Bro, talked to my brother and told him I had the opportunity to go into college and receive a scholarship. And unbeknownst, that was my avenue to get a free education.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I take it you didn't always go to private schools.
No.
Okay. And being from the inner city, I'm from the inner city of DC, so I know how that is. How did you end up at St. Mary, St. Vincent? Was it like a scholarship? Was it
St. Vincent, St. Mary? A lot of people run up on you if you say it wrong. I'm just gonna let them give me that. St. Vincent, St. Mary. Honestly, we ended up at St. Vincent, St. Mary because of Dru, our friend Dru. They called him Little Dru at the time. He seen something in Sunday night camps with Coach Dambrot and felt like he wanted to play for him. And us being a close-knit friend group, we all decided, to support him and follow him and come to St. Vincent, St. Mary. Other than that, we were headed out to Bookdale. A large group was, and I wanted to go with him because I experienced some success playing AAU ball, took second at nationals at AAU, and won a couple CBA national championships and traveling down in Florida. So, that's the most winning idea. So I want to go with him, but my brother didn't want me to go to Bookdale. He said, I don't know if Bookdale the right spot. I'd love to get you in a private school. So he's already talking private. And then when Dru decided to go to St. V, and we had the opportunity to meet with Coach and had the opportunity to play for him and get to know him, it was kind of like a no-brainer after that.
Right.
So it wasn't really going to a private school. It was really going with friends, doing something that you love. You know what I mean?
Right.
All along, and the goal was to get a college scholarship and get prepared. So my brother was always in the background like, yeah, you going there to play basketball, but you get ready for school. So you academically, I was really nervous going in, coming in with a special education background, and this is St. V private school, the education's so much tougher and stuff like that. So I really made a thing out of nothing before I got there. So, but in turn, it made me work harder, stay more focused, because I didn't want to be the one that was ineligible because of grades and things like that. So the persona really caused me to step up and be more attentive to my grades and more locked in, because I didn't want to be the one that couldn't play.
Right. And that was my next follow-up question. Like, how was that experience there coming from, being a little behind, which sometimes being from the inner city, we don't get the best, schooling, the best books and stuff like that, and making that change. So that's amazing that you could even do that and be there and be very successful in the classroom, on the court, and on the field.
Absolutely. But credit to my brother and sister-in-law. They helped prepare me to get to that point. When I came here, I was behind. They got me all the extra tutoring and things that I needed to get back on track, and I locked in, and I knew I could do it, and I put forth the effort. And now when I have opportunity to talk to kids through my programs and things like that, even the worst case scenarios I can relate to, and I've been through those hard times. But I often tell kids, at the beginning, you don't get to write your book. But after a while, you get to write the pages, the chapters, and the ending of your book. And how do you want it to end? How are you going to impact yourself? How are you going to invest in yourself? And at some point, it's not on mom or dad or your brother or teacher. It's on you. How much are you investing in yourself? And I think I just got that at an early age. You know what I mean? Now, I had a lot of examples and a lot of help with my brother and, educated African Americans that was in my presence that I felt that I could achieve those goals. So, all credit, to my village. It takes a village to raise a child, and I had a great village around me, from my brother to Coach Dru, to Black queens in front of me being great examples of how a woman want to care of themselves and take care of kids. So I have no excuses not to be doing what I'm doing now. You know what I mean? I've been fortunate to have a lot of opportunities. So it's what you're gonna do with them. You know what I mean?
Yep, I agree. And kind of pivoting from academics back to sports, how was it, you playing on the biggest stages? I'm, watching interviews and everything, doing my research.
Right.
And, yeah, y'all all over the place whooping people.
Right.
You know, how was that experience being at your school and playing on that level?
It's an amazing experience. It was amazing. It was educational. It helped us grow personally, getting exposed to a lot of different situations and environments with all the traveling, and it really helped us. You know, I was actually talking to Romeo a few days ago, and he was sharing that we didn't have we didn't have an ordinary upbringing like a lot of high school athletes come, and
Right.
obviously playing with LeBron and what we were exposed to. But
Right.
it was one of those things that forced us to grow up fast. We understood that we were always in the spotlight, and understood there was always somebody looking when we had our Letterman on. They knew who we were, and if we
Right.
did anything crazy, it was going to get back. So it was a sense of responsibility that we carried early. And for LeBron to be at this point in his career and not have any scandals or things like that, because we understood at a young age that there's a lot of people looking, and you're always under the microscope. So for him to continue that on the professional level is not a surprise. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now I can understand how hard it is. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you just want to be you, and you want to be a kid, and you should be afforded that. But you also, coach always, instilled in as much is given, much is expected. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
To come with all that free gear and the opportunity to travel, and everybody don't get that responsibility or that opportunity. So it's a responsibility that comes with it, and we all accepted it. I mean, to the point of he preached to us that if we took this serious, we could lay a foundation that a lot of other African American kids would have an opportunity to get a good education and go on to college. And we shouldered that, and we wanted to build that legacy. And no surprise, they are where they are now, because they on the shoulders of people that were there before them. You know what I mean? And so it's a brotherhood that has started, that we come back, and we love to see the young guys doing well. And if we can offer any support, it's something that started there that, just basketball wise, not to mention me being an athletic director the last 6 years, and having a sense of pride of what we've done in the past, and want to see it continue, and to be a part of helping these kids get in there and to get the education, go on to school, and get a free education. You know what I mean?
Yep. And so you would say, obviously, your time with Coach Dru and at St. V's, that prepared you and propelled you to the next level, which was
Absolutely.
college.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was the expectation. I mean, that's why we came to St. V. That's why we made the sacrifices that we made, leaving our friends in public schools and coming to a private school, because we came for a reason. We wanted to go on to college. Before it was the NBA and playing professionally, we wanted to go on and represent Akron at the collegiate level. You know what I mean? On the D1 level. And so, early on, I was just talking to a friend yesterday from elementary school, man. At a young age, here in Akron, I'm sure all across the world, kids have big dreams. You don't know how you're going to get there. You just want to work and see if you can achieve them. And along the way, opportunities present themselves, and you try and take advantage of them. And, at this point, I've just lost my brother. I've lost, mother and uncle. And you really just appreciate the time you have with people and seeing the growth, where they came from, and where you all were. And whether it be my college friends, my high school, my elementary friends, we all had dreams, and that's what made us friends. And we all want to achieve them. And now to look past that and where we are now, to have families and things like that, it's just a blessing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whether we achieved them, we surpassed them, we all healthy, and we're able to provide for our families. As you grow, your goals change, and you
Evolve.
when you look back, absolutely, you evolve and think back of where you came from, and be thankful for where you are, and that's trying to pull somebody else up to help them get here. You know what I'm saying?
So after St. V's, you went to Fairmont State, where you got a degree in information systems, and you actually played football
Correct.
instead of basketball. What went into that? What was that switch?
Well, basketball was my first love, but at the end of the day, after hurting my shoulder, I became a role player at St. V. And if you know LeBron, you got to put a group around him that's conducive to him. And I wasn't really a part of that group. In essence, I wasn't a shooter, I wasn't a necessarily ball handler, stuff like that. I was kind of a glue guy that can handle a little bit, play good defense, rebound, put back. Never really got a chance to get going, because you got Brian on the wing, Drew on the wing, and stuff like that. So I accepted my role, but that role wasn't conducive to receiving a scholarship. But playing football, playing quarterback did. That offered me something that basketball didn't. I'd be the first one to tell you I didn't love football at the time, but at the end of the day, it was get to college for free by any means necessary.
Exactly.
So I loved it, and I was competitive enough to believe that I could do it and go on to college. And, so I did my 5 years. I may have played 5 snaps. I went into college a strong arm quarterback that needed tutelage and the skill level, the footwork. And I got half of that, and they end up bringing in a JUCO guy and moved me to tight end, and he and they end up working. They moved me back. So I never got an opportunity to play, but I got a free education. I used the game, and I didn't let the game use me. And really, that's what it came down to. So I got out of there with some of the best friends in my life, a degree of information systems, thinking I'm ready to make a ton of money to get out of school. I get out of school and start working on computers and understand that's not what I want to do. It was so introverted, so dry, and you get out of school, you get your first apartment, you want to go kick it, and then I'm gonna get up and go to work. But then work started being hard. I'm sitting at the computer all day, and then I start to understand that I enjoy working with people, working with youth. Coach Dru gave me an opportunity once I graduated from Fairmont to be a freshman or to be a varsity assistant basketball coach. Didn't want to do it, passed it to my brother. He started. And I ended up taking the freshman job, and I ended up loving it. I ended up finding out that I'm a people person. I enjoy working with people. People respond well to me. And it was one of those things, you go to school for that time, and then you get out and understand something else may be more suited for you. And that was really it for me.
Yeah. Like you said, you start off with goals, and then you evolve, and life
Things
happens,
change.
and then you saw that you ain't like that. I got to make another move.
Absolutely.
But you stayed around people, community, and sports.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was your first love in the beginning. So after starting working with the youth and everything like that, you had a chance to go collegiately.
Correct.
And coach at Shawan University. Tell us about your experience there.
It was an amazing experience. Honestly, it was another one of those experiences that I didn't necessarily think I was ready for or wanted to. Getting out of school, trying to make some money and grow my income. I think I may have been making like $36,000 a year. This job presented itself, and it was all off of networking. This coach that took the job was actually the assistant coach at Fairmont when I was there. Gotcha. And I took his golf class, and he knew I played ball, and he knew I had connections back in the city. I actually helped a kid come to Fairmont, and I knew this coach and stuff. So he reached out to me, asked if I was interested. Initially, I said no, but I ended up taking it, walked out on faith, and it was a great growing experience. If I don't take that job and humble myself and possibly take 2 steps back, looking down the road, I probably don't get an opportunity to take the St. Vincent St. Mary athletic director position job. You know what I mean? So I believe that collegiate job put me in position to receive the job later in life. But it was a great experience. It was humbling. When I tell you I slept on a air mattress for a year and a half, that was real. Making $19,000, no insurance or benefits.
I already know that grind.
You know what I mean? The grind was real. But it was something that I loved to do, that I was looking forward to growing in and going to the NCAA tournament and possibly, getting another job. I get down there, and, unbeknownst to me, the coach that I was playing up underneath, he'd be the first one to tell you he's the only guy to play in 3 NCAA tournaments for 3 different Division I teams, West Virginia, Marshall, and Duquesne or something like that. So he was definitely a basketball guy, a very unique guy. But I definitely learned things from him, being underneath him. But I didn't have opportunity to grow. I didn't have opportunity to go to NCAA tournament and network. And while they were out recruiting, they wanted me to be over the academics, so I had to run study table. But every time they bring a recruit in, I'm the first one they put in the face, and I'm walking them around. I'm the selling point. Played with Brian. So it didn't really add up to me. Then it was some controversial money things as far as how much I was going to get paid the next year. And so with that, I took a job here in Akron as East High School head basketball coach. So I had an opportunity to come back. I did 2 years there. And after you coach so long, you want to see if you can implement what you taught and be a head coach. So that was an opportunity for me to be a head coach. I took the job. I was excited. I'm setting up my open gym and my basketball schedule for the upcoming year. My phone's ringing off the hook. The AD at St. Vincent St. Mary steps down, and the job is open, and they want me to apply for it. Yep. So I'm really torn. Do I do something that I love, that I've been waiting for, to be a head coach at a high school, or do I take this job at St. V? So I'm torn. I don't know. I go to my friend's house. Sian, he like, man, shit's an easy decision. Which one make more money? I mean, you got to provide. I'm like, oh, yes. But then I had a friend, he actually is the head coach. He was at Missouri, played the Akron U behind my brother. And he was like, man, don't chase the money. Chase something you love and the money will follow. So in the back of my head, like, man, I don't want to take it just for the money. So I go to sleep that night and my mother had passed. So she came to me in my dream and she asked me where was home. I'm like, well, shit, home is St. V, that's where my heart is. He like, well, that's where you need to go. Go where your heart is and everything else follows. So the next morning I wake up till I apply for the job and it was kind of history after that. So when I tell you my life has been on a path that seemed that is destined, I have no complaints with that. From moving up from Chicago to stay with my brother and, him being my guiding light, put me in a position to be successful, to going to college and it not being ideal, but still working my way through it and finishing, getting out. I've had many jobs. I've worked at the Urban League. I've worked at Minority Behavioral Health Group. I worked at the YMCA sports youth director at one point. So I've put my time in. I've stepped down for that and been an area director for a tutoring service that came into the area for a minute. So when I feel like I've stretched myself, I've walked out on faith and challenged myself and understood that I have a, often people tell me, LeBron, your family's doing well, you're going to be secure. But, when you're working, you don't think like that. You don't think of failure. I'm doing this and I'm going to succeed. Now, in the back of my mind, I know I have people around me that's going to support me like I'll support them. But, you don't go into things thinking that you can't do it. Being an athlete is if you can teach me, I can learn anything. You know what I'm saying? And the competitiveness in me leads me to believe that anything that, I want to do, that I'm more than capable of learning and doing and going through the process of being special ed and being 3 or 4 years behind and catching up and wanting to get my master's. That proves to me anything's possible. So fast forward, I'm working. I come back. I get the St. V job. I take it. I get it. I win a award, a Be Me award. And to start
the Barack, but tell them a little bit about like the Be Me award and what goes into being qualified to get one of those.
So the Be Me award is award that is given at the time. It was given to 5 males in 5 different cities. It was Akron, Miami, Pittsburgh, DC, and one other PA town. And it was under the Barack Obama initiative, My Brother's Keeper. And the thought was to give funds out to people that's on the ground that was already doing things, not necessarily to give funds to people to start things, but to give to individuals or programs that was already grassroots and were doing things that can help their umbrella spread. And so when I won that award, I was really oblivious to really what it was and how much impact it could have. To me, I'm coaching at St. V at the time. I'm the youth sports director at the YMCA. I'm doing some mentoring. So things that, to me is routine and a part of me giving back because people gave to me, I got recognized for it and I won. So to go down to DC and kind of have a better understanding, I think I was in the third award class. So it was, 3 people in front of me or 2 people in front of me from Akron and all the other locations. So we all meet in DC for a workshop and it was amazing. And they just really preach better together. You don't got to go in and have to do it by yourself. You see like-minded people or programs around you. And work with them, collaborate with them and you can touch and be able to reach more kids and impact them. And it was just a brilliant concept. And when I won the $10,000 grant, I ended up making a nonprofit organization named after my mother, the D.A.L.E Program. But it's an acronym for Discipline, Athletics, Leadership, and Education. And to me, when I broke down on how I got to where I am thus far, those were the things that I feel like were my pillars that I stood on to get to where I was. So that's why I named the program. And I'm 4 or 5 years in. I've done back to school programs over the last 4 to 5 years, get Essential Give and Go during the pandemic when things were shutting down. Me and 2 other organizations came together and were giving deodorant, masks, lotion, different things like that. Just continue to impact the community. I've did leadership councils with Kent State University. So I've done a lot of different things that I've been blessed to impact the youth in the community and being able to collaborate with other organizations that if it wasn't for the Coach Drews or my brothers or the Coach Cottons and different things that poured into me, I wouldn't have that opportunity. So it was my opportunity to give back, and I ran with it, and it's been going well ever since. Got my website, the D.A.L.E Program .org. If anyone's interested, can log in and kind of see some of the things we've done in the upcoming years. We have a back to school event coming up next Sunday. If anybody's available, please come out. We're looking to give over 700 book bags away. We have haircuts for the kids. We have resume buildings for families. We have food and different things like that. So, just trying, blessed to be a blessing, at this point in my life. And
to be able to be in a situation where you can give back.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's growing, just got married. And
congratulations.
Have a son that's 18 months, and that's trying to be an example for him. Like my brother and Coach Yu was an example for me. And, just losing my brother probably in the last month is a reality check that time moves on, doesn't stop for anyone. You cherish the time that you have, but when those times are gone, you still got to move past it and move through it and live for them. So that's going through those things right now, man. It's when I tell you the happiest time of my life was mixed with one of the saddest times of my life. Right. But I take it for what it's worth, and I felt like it helped me grow personally, and let's try and cherish each moment while you're here. You understand that that day is gonna come, so you want to make memories with your family and friends, and take advantage to really appreciate the moments. Not just walking through them, or you want to live through them. You want to be able to appreciate and look back on them. And I'm taking more pictures, and I'm crying more than I ever have. So all those things. So
be in the moment.
Be in the moment.
And you get a really good chance because you named your son after your brother.
Yes.
And in that, I feel like all the things that he poured into you and instilled into you, I'm sure you're going to do the same for your son.
Oh, absolutely.
And prepare him, just like people were preparing you to be great.
Oh, absolutely.
And do the great things that you're doing right now. So I love that.
That is the plan. That is the plan, man. We often, I talk with my friends, man, people never get their flowers while they're here. And so to me, when I decided to make that decision to name my child after him, it was funny how it came about, because me and my wife were coming up with names and stuff. And I don't know if y'all know, but when you share names with people, they real opinionated. So you think this the name, this it. They hit you like, that's what you were like. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? So like, damn, maybe I need to rethink it. So we go through that, and so we're up one morning watching a Disney movie, and we what did we go with? We went Grayson. Now my wife liked it. I ain't love it, but it was cool. I was rolling. Yeah, I was rolling with it. So my friend Drew like, man, so what y'all going with? I'm like, Grayson. He like, you like that? I'm like, it's cool. He like, no, this your son. Like, you gotta love it. You gotta love this. Don't just go with that. And it got my mind tricking after we had told people, and you got the opinion. So we were up one morning watching a Disney movie. No bullshit. Up watching the Disney movie. I think it's called Safety, about the brother at Clemson University, and he brought his brother to stay with him. It's an amazing movie. Okay. But when I tell you I watched it and I cried like 2 or 3 different times, it really related to my situation and me being passed around with friends when they were in college. I could just relate to it, and people just pouring in and trying to help them. And it resonated to me at that point. I spoke with my wife, like, I want to name him after my brother. Right. You know what I mean? Which is like my father, the impact he had on. And the first thing man, that's a strong name. How, people gonna mess it up. I'm like, right, but he got to stand up and be accountable for himself. He got to correct him. He got to let him know who he is. He's gonna force him to be something special. And amen, which, she supported me in it. And so we came up with it, and that was the name, but we didn't tell nobody.
Surprise.
So we didn't tell nobody. we told him we couldn't think of nothing. And then when we had the baby, I called my brother, and I told him that I named him after him, and he started crying. Aww. He was actually in Cleveland working a event with COVID at Oriana House, and he said, "Goddamn, you can't have me crying around the inmates. They gonna think I'm soft, man. Hold on, I gotta call you back." And so, so that was me. Giving him his flowers before he left, and often, in my family, they talk about, when you lose someone, it's normally a new life that comes after.
You gain one.
Yep. And as far as I can remember, the elders, my brother, sister, my uncles, they've been riddling those off. Like when he passed and such was born, my mom passed, my niece was born, my grandmother, stuff like that. So to have pictures with them and them to cross paths is special to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that was my opportunity to give them flowers. And when I sit back and think about it, when I think about, man, it's the worst time it could have happened. It was 5 days before his birthday. It was 3 weeks before my wedding. He's gonna be the best man.
Right.
Like, man, why now? But then I think about it, man, the shit was so devastating to go through it. My wedding forced our family out of a dark spot into the light. You know what I'm saying? So it was one of those things where it was probably the worst time. It was may have been, honestly, the best time, because we know this had to happen. We know he wanted it to happen. So it forced everybody out of a dark spot into a spot that we could celebrate and things like that. Absolutely. And, it's a thought process. Do you mourn that you lose them and you don't have them for the rest of your life? Or do you say, are you thankful that you have them for 52 years and 38 years of your life, and you got to learn from them and things like that? And, and we had a great homegoing ceremony. And, I had, obviously you in school, you meet friends from all over. One of my best friends that was in my wedding was my friend Big E. He's from New Orleans, and they celebrate death down there. You see the second line, and people think it's spooky because they dancing. But to go down there and experience some trauma with him, and his mother went through a stroke. So I drove from West Virginia to New Orleans with him to support him, and really have understanding the culture of they celebrate life when people pass. And that really helped me with my mother, my brother, and things like that. So during all this time, we was able to celebrate his life, have good memories, live through stories that, family and friends are sharing at the funeral. Some of the stories that his friends shared that I never heard, it really gave him life, and he's still living today. So those are the things that when I sit here before you today and I start a new job tomorrow, that's what I'm standing on. That's what I take with me. That's what I'm giving to the people I'm working with, the people that the kids that I'm encountering. I take those moments serious. I try and impact them like people impacted me, and know that when I'm there with them. I'm not just a person in passing. Somebody that they can rely on, somebody that's going to be there that they can depend on.
Right. And you touched on a lot of things, and one of them being during that time, you had a lot of good things happening and then devastating things happening. And one of those good things that did happen was you stepping into a new role in a new position.
Yes.
With the LeBron James Foundation. Can you tell us a little bit about your new role, your new position, and what it entails?
Well, at first, it's bittersweet, because I don't get this role if I don't have the opportunity to work at St. Vincent St. Mary. Honestly.
For 7 years.
Absolutely. So it was home for 4 years before that, 7 more. And the experience I had there, I couldn't be more thankful for giving me the opportunity to accept this position at the LeBron James Foundation. But honestly, I believe it would be more. I'll find out more tomorrow when I get in there. But I know I will be a liaison for the family. So the House 330, where I got married at, they're going to be offering a lot of different services, from opportunities to work different events. So if you're able and willing to work those events, you can come in and get job training, financial literacy classes from Chase Bank that'll be stationed there, and a lot of different opportunities I believe that'll be coming down the pike as the building further develops. So I'll be liaison, getting them in connection with the resources that will be in that building, along with help starting their athletic program this upcoming year. So the I Promise School will be going up from 3rd to 8th grade this year. So in that, junior high sports starts for them. So I have opportunity to get in on the ground level with them and help integrate the sports department with them that I look forward to this upcoming year.
Oh yeah. That's big.
So definitely
I'm
rewarding
excited for you.
Oh, absolutely. Get some quality coaches in there to lead the guys and girls, to have some experience, to have a passion for teaching and teaching kids, and that look forward to helping those kids grow through athletics. So looking forward to that, and that's learning something new. It's refreshing to start something new.
Right.
Yeah.
And not selfishly, because I think your story is amazing. Just like I said, I tell everybody that I'm interviewing, I'm stalking you for a good 3 weeks or whatever, and I'm learning so many things, and your story touched me so much. And you asked a great question when we were texting back and forth, why me?
Right.
And it kind of it resonated with me so much because that's the same thing that I want to do for my city. And, you know, it's kind of like being where you are right now. I'm not in DC, but I'm in Akron.
Right.
And I've started grind season and the podcast and stuff to give back because as athletes, especially growing up in DC, my coaches did so much for me.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you play on AAU, my mom ain't paid for that.
Right. No.
We was out there fundraising, selling water in the hot sun, you know, stuff like that. And I coach now collegiately because of my coaches. They
Absolutely.
prepared me. They gave me that dog mentality, everything. Who I am today, I test that all back to them. And I'm so thankful. I can't thank them enough. And that's, you know, what I get from your story. Like everything you've learned, you've been through, you're pouring into other students and student athletes and giving them an opportunity, even when they don't have one, you know, maybe because of where they come from or, you know, who their parents are and different things like that. So applause to you. I mean, I love what you're doing. And keep up the great work, man.
And I appreciate that. And you know, those are things that you do unconscious. You know, those are the things that I've seen done for me. And, you know, out of habit, you know, I know it impacts and it affects in a positive way. So therefore I try and do it for others.
Right.
But to be here and to come where I came from, where we come from, to be, and I can't even call myself successful because I'm not done yet. I'm continuing to work and I have other things that I want to achieve. But to be in a place that I can provide for myself and my family is a blessing within itself, you know,
Right.
and not being content, but being humble and hungry and continue to have the dog mentality to strive for more and know that you don't want to stay content. You want to continue to maximize your potential to give your family opportunities that you didn't have.
Exactly.
So to have opportunity to sit down with you and to have other people view or to hear my story, to hear my testimony, you know, I take advantage of that every time. You know what I mean? Because you didn't have to have me here, you know. And I'm a person that understands everybody has a story.
Right.
Good, bad, or indifferent. Everybody has a story on how we got here to be sitting next to each other. And I'm a person that enjoy those stories. I'm a people person. I enjoy good, bad, and different because I'm a person that believes that you can learn from people doing the wrong thing or a negative person or things like that. I take people for who they are. You know, I don't
Right.
try and make people into something they not. And shit, I played with LeBron James. You know what I mean? So to understand who he was before he was King James kind of put stuff in perspective to me. Now, everybody doesn't have that opportunity. Everybody
Right.
hasn't been afforded those opportunities, but I have, and that helps me kind of keep things in perspective when I meet or I interact with anyone. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because everyone comes from the same place. You know what I mean? People put here for a reason, and to understand that, you know, everybody got to eat. They putting their shoes and socks on the same way. No
Yep.
one's greater than the next person. You know, those are things that I try and install to people and kids that I come in contact with.
Yeah. And I can't express it enough.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming
Absolutely.
and sharing your story. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm sure the viewers will too. So lastly, just tell the people how to get in contact with you, social media, personally, your D.A.L.E program, what you got coming up, all that.
Absolutely. So my personal, you can check me out on Facebook under Willie McGee. My IG is ChillWill03. My D.A.L.E program is the D.A.L.E program on DALEprogram.org website, but you also can check out the IG at the D.A.L.E program. And that's doing stuff in the community, starting a new job, focused on my family right now. But I think it's going to give me more time to get out and do more things with the D.A.L.E program. So I'm looking forward to that. We got a back to school event at Westside Coney Island from 12 to 3. This upcoming Sunday, if you please come out, haircuts, food for the community. Looking forward to that. Down the road, I have something for Thanksgiving from the D.A.L.E program. I get information out. You can share that as well. But just trying to soak up time with my family and trying to be the best person I can be and be an example for others.
We appreciate that, Willie. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Grind Season LLC. Visit our website at www.grindseason.co.